Welcome. My name is Candace Metzler, and I am the Executive Director of T of Utah. My pronouns are she, her, or they, them. On behalf of T and the many organizations of people who have worked hard to make this event possible, I want to welcome you and thank you for being with us. On Transgender Day of Remembrance, we remember those of our community we've lost to violence. Some folks may find portions of this event triggering, and we encourage everyone to practice self-care. That is, if you notice your emotions becoming overwhelming, please take a step back, pause the video, or just stop watching if that's what's needed. We've invited a diverse group of community members to voice what is in their hearts on this difficult day. Individual comments may not reflect the views of all participating speakers or organizations. To the more than 300 loved ones we remember today, rest in power. The schedule will include an opening statement from Dallas Rivas, board member of T of Utah and Project Rainbow. Then we will have the reading of the names, followed by TDR messages from many of our local organization leaders and community advocates. We welcome you to this event and hope that you will take away from this something that empowers you to move forward and help us in the effort to raise awareness to this issue. Thank you again.
Hello, I'm Dallas Rivas from Project Rainbow. Today is November 20th, 2020. It's International Transgender Day of Awareness, also known as TDOR. Many people have asked me throughout the years why I bother making TDOR memorial cards for all the unknown victims, the people without names. There were approximately 30 people who could not be identified this year. Not missed by anyone. No one claimed their body at the morgue or even bothered looking for them when they couldn't find them. Imagine how these people felt while they were alive. Unseen, unheard. Would one simple hello have made a difference? I'm speaking to allies when I say please look into your heart, get out of your comfort zone, and come by this memorial before Sunday when we take it down. This display represents the lonely trans people who are just trying to exist. The 324 flags symbolize the tragic ending of these innocent lives, people who simply wanted to live more authentically. Please remember that trans rights are human rights. We're not looking to have more rights than others. We just want equal rights. Please come by and be a visible ally to the trans community. And thank you for all the emails and messages.
L.S. Felix, 24, Brazil. Coral, age unknown, Mexico. Rafael de Sales, 26, Brazil. Isabelle Pardo, 23, Brazil. Mufa Alava, 30, Ecuador. Rosa Garandos, 28, El Salvador. Name unknown, Mexico. Catalina Rodriguez, 22, Colombia. Emilia Lundberg, 20, Sweden. Nicole Pinto, 33, Brazil. Mauricio Chacon Vicari, 37, Italy. Nikki Kuhanesen, 17, Larch Mountain, Oregon. Myla Carvalho, Brazil. Maricel Brandina, 23, Brazil. Veronica Alveria, 40, Brazil. Nicole Muniz Ferreira Souza, 24, Brazil.
Lorena Martins dos Santos from Brazil. Name unknown from Mexico. Alice Carter, age 31, from Washington, D.C. Yahira Nesby, age 33, from Brooklyn, New York. Christy Conde Vasquez, age 28, from El Salvador. Kendall, age 19, from Colombia. Julie Behrman, age 51, from Canada. Andrea Naheli Alonso Ramirez, age 46, from Mexico. Luciana Robledo, age 32, from Argentina. Mia Perry, age 26, from Washington, D.C. Lucas Georgi, age 22, from Brazil. Gui Pereira, from Brazil. Ellie Pimentel, age 24, from Brazil. Selena Pejoto, age 37, from Brazil. Jennifer Avila Sumpala, age 35, from Guatemala. Dustin Parker, age 25, from McAllister, Oklahoma.
Sapna, India. Pulak Tiwari, 24, India. Murilo Gonçalves, Brazil. Alex McCrae, 22, St. Louis, Missouri. Nare Mafela, 28, South Africa. Andresa Henrique, 28, Brazil. Vitoria Santos Silva, 19, Brazil. Unknown, Brazil. Brenda Landasuri, 24, Colombia. Marie de Bastos Lima, 37, Brazil. Lucas Alcazar, 21, Spain. Giselle Catherine, Brazil. Hans Acevedo, 46, Guatemala. Unidentified, Brazil. Jusara Perez da Silva, 55, Brazil. Palinha Espindola Lopez, 24, Brazil.
Kimberly Sabrina McRae, 69, Australia. Eduarda Pinero, 41, Italy. Angie Aguilera, 25, Mexico. Bruna Rosa, Brazil. Brigitte Michelle Alas Miranda, 21, El Salvador. Fabiola, Brazil. Ana Clara Lima, 38, Brazil. Ajita Bujel, 29, Nepal. Hilary Medina, 22, Colombia. Morgana Claudia Ribeiro Parana, 37, Brazil. Leticia Pereira de Oliveira, 17, Brazil. Maya Haddad, 27, Israel. Shakira Perez Mendez, 27, Mexico. Unknown, 20 to 23, Colombia. Williani Rosenvert, 26, Dominican Republic. Wadia Brenner Duroc, 25, Brazil.
Roberta Carballadra, 45, Argentina. Andrea Santana, Brazil. Nicole, Mexico. Isabel Costel, 27, Brazil. Mesa Andrade, 34, Brazil. Samantha Duvall, 20, Brazil. Guadalupe, 35, Mexico. Dorte Lopez Leal, 32, Brazil. Karev, 20, Brazil. Angie Memblina del Arguila, 26, Peru. Thabita Oliveira, 31, Brazil. Sabrina Sampiato, 22, Brazil. Nenim Santanos da Silveira, 38, Brazil. Alan, 46, Russia. Katrina Ariel Silva, 22, Brazil. Unknown, Brazil.
Alexandra Greenway, 23, from Bristol. Rebecca Ann, 44, from Scotland. Monica Chagas, 25, from Brazil. name unknown, from Italy. Bruna Rosa, 26, from Brazil. Richelle Silva, 25, from Brazil. Samantha, 26, from Mexico. Carla H., 32, from Mexico. Gabby, 21, from Brazil. Gabrielle Vandergale, 28, from Brazil. Cachita Soto Rufino, 21, from the Dominican Republic. Jessica Sarmiento, 38, from France. Camila Maria Concepcion, 28, from Los Angeles, California. Unknown name, from Brazil. Maria Eduarda Eros Diaz, 32, from Brazil. Name unknown, from Brazil.
Alexa Ruiz, 28, Toa, Baja, Puerto Rico. Ali Mamin Uamani, 44, Peru. Alexia Ferreira, 24, Brazil. Luisa Sandoval Lemes, 24, Brazil. Yampi Mendez Arocho, 19, Mocha, Puerto Rico. Patsy Andrea Delgado, 42, Mexico. Carly Janina Palomino, 33, Argentina. S. Cornel Guerrero, 32, Mexico. Tita Andrade Umanya, 33, El Salvador. Ada Hansi, Turkey. Talita, 28, Brazil. Ludmilla Nascimento dos Santos, Brazil. Scotland Kelly Devore, 51, Augusta, Georgia. Isadora, 51, Brazil. Unknown, 31, Brazil. Unknown, 30 to 35, Mexico.
Monica Diamond, 34, Charlotte, North Carolina. Rahim Pimenta, 25, Brazil. Paloma Pereira da Nascimento, 22, Brazil. Kelly, 35, Brazil. Carla Camarena del Castillo, 33, Mexico. Vivian Maximina, Brazil. Naomi Nicole Garcia, 25, Mexico. Lexi Ebony Sutton, 33, Harlem, New York. E. Grosu, 23, Turkey. Unknown, 20, Mexico. Rosai Ferrer, Brazil. Lorena Borges, 59, Queens, New York. Jennifer Diaz del Alcantara, 34, Brazil. Fabiola Pereira Andrade, 48, Brazil. Hereta Robinson, 79, Miami, Florida. Raki Franca, 26, Brazil.
Musa, age 15, Pakistan. Name unknown. Age unknown, Brazil. Mira, age 42, Indonesia. Jaya do Nascimento Martins, age 27, Brazil. Marcela Batonti, age unknown, Brazil. Name unknown, age 22, Colombia. Sasha Santos Balu, age 25, Brazil. Lucia Perez, age unknown, Brazil. Name unknown, age unknown, Brazil. Muna Alaves, age unknown, Brazil. Julia, age 60, Mexico. Joanna Metzgar, age 25, Baltimore, Maryland. Anna Karen Velasco Capellana, age 25, Mexico. Laca do Barral, age 33, Brazil. Penelope Diaz Ramirez, age 31, Bayamon, Puerto Rico. Paloma Salas Hernandez, age 33, Colombia.
Marbella Santos, 28, Guatemala. Unknown, Mexico. Leticia, 18, Brazil. Paris Ninel, 28, Mexico. Serena Angelique Velasquez, 32, Humaco, Puerto Rico. Leila Pelez Sanchez, 21, Humaco, Puerto Rico. Maria Eduarda Carla Fernandez Anselmo, 33, Brazil. Natasha Ferreira Lobato, 30, Brazil. Teresa del Castillo, 20, Mexico. Jade de Jesus Santos, 35, Brazil. Nina Pope, 28, Sikeston, Missouri. Luz Clarita Zuniga, 23, Honduras. Fernanda de Souza Paiva, Brazil. Hele Ye O'Hagan, 20, San Antonio, Texas. Fabia Olivia de Silva, 22, Brazil. Jayne Thompson, 33, Orchid Mesa, Colorado. Rest in power.
Hirawaz, Pakistan. Gabriela Hills, Brazil. Unknown, Mexico. Unknown, Brazil. Name unknown, India. Roberta dos Santos, 42, Brazil. Unknown, India. Harina, India. Unknown, 33, Brazil. Dimitro Campos, Brazil. Agatha Lima, Brazil. Unknown, Brazil. Pilar Arbarican, 30, Argentina. Unknown, 28, Brazil. Calota in Nicaragua. Jennifer Leon, 33, Russia.
Tony McDade, 38, Tallahassee, Florida. Vic Santos, 22, Brazil. Cristiane Sousa, Brazil. Alejandra Ortega, 39, Colombia. Jade, Brazil. Grampula, 48, Brazil. Rhea Milton, 25, Cincinnati, Ohio. Dominique Remy Fells, 27, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Selena Reyes Hernandez, 37, Chicago, Illinois. Kathleen Santos, Brazil. Fernanda Antello, Bolivia. Paulina Reis Souza, 19, Brazil. Luani Souza, 22, Brazil. Brianna Powers, 43, Akron, Ohio. Kayla Nunes, Brazil. Essie Granlund, 26, Finland.
Ariadna Ohio, 20, Colombia. Marcinha Shokena Bastos de Silva, 28, Brazil. Brandy Catalina Brown, 30, Colombia. Tamara, 23, Russia. Dr. Maria Elizabeth Montano, 47, Mexico. Ayesu Mahmadia, 28, Turkey. M.R. Santabria, 26, Honduras. Babalu, 40, Brazil. Amanda Marfrey, 35, Brazil. Name unconfirmed, 23, Brazil. Marceli Silva, 41, Brazil. Lady Gaga, 30, Brazil. Fernanda Machado de Silva, 27, Brazil. Brayla Stone, 17, Sherwood, Arkansas. Anel Venezuela, 45, Mexico. Dr. Igor Lima Potencio, 24, Brazil.
Eileen Catalina, 21, Colombia. Tina Rodriguez, 57, Brazil. Veronica Ferreira de Lima, 50, Brazil. Tatiana Hall, 22, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Mercy Mack, 22, Dallas, Texas. Gabriela Reyes, Mexico. Fernanda Colahina, Brazil. Drea McCarthy, 28, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Shockey Peters, 32, Amite City, Louisiana. Vida Borges de Mello, Brazil. Yandra Coroni Santos, Brazil. Bree Black, 27, Pompano Beach, Florida. Mateo Lopez, 25, Colombia. Unknown Trans Man, 20, Manchester, UK. Beanish, Pakistan. Angela Martinez Gomez, 42, Santa Monica, California.
Name unknown. Colombia. Scarlett Cáceres, Honduras. Lady Padilla Daze, 41, Colombia. Carol da Silva, 36, Brazil. Soraya Oliveira, Brazil. Cristal Romero Matos, 52, Peru. Tiffany Alves Medeiros, 51, Brazil. Marilyn Monroe Casares, 22, Raleigh, California. Victoria Maia, 29, Brazil. Manuela de Garcia, 48, Italy. Stephanie Dior, 36, Italy. Monique Martinez, 44, Honduras. Tiffany Harris, 32, Bronx, New York. Dorothy Balbino de Lima, 40, Brazil. Keisha Hardy, 24, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Denise Torres, 39, Mexico.
Aja Raquel Roan Spears. Cristal Lopez. Joseline. Luisa Avila Henao. Name unknown. Samara, Paloma, unknown, Leticia Costa, Vanessa Solorzano, Alicia Gajefa, Brenda Koje Etui, Ellen, Ashley Moore, Key Sam, Brehit,
Isabella Belushi, England. Burku Noon Onasina, age 22, Turkey. Uzman Paya, 20, Pakistan. Barbara Ellen, age 53, Brazil. Patricia Dumont, Colombia. Emily Taylor, age 26, Brazil. Danielle Rodriguez, 21, Brazil. Bernadette, Brazil. Claudia Viete, age 19, Brazil. Sam Rosalie, 23, Mexico. Julie Torres, Mexico. Anuska, age 35, India. Bhavani, 34, India. Lorena Maria Daluhan Rigel, age 39, Argentina. Laura Redfield, 23, Brazil. Guria, Pakistan.
Mireya Rodriguez Limas, Mexico. Shelley Lynn Rose, 16, location unknown. Isabella Soares, 22, Brazil. Gabriela Cruz Pimentel, 46, Peru. Leslie Rocha, Mexico. Ali Chi, 23, Bronx, New York, America. Chiara Duarte, 27, Brazil. Janine Huerta Lopez, 30, Mexico. Unknown person between the age of 25 and 30, Mexico. Anguri, Pakistan. Brandy Ronzon Huerta Cortez, 34, Mexico. Katherine Rosmery Duvall, El Salvador. Melody Barrera, 27, Argentina. Name unknown, Brazil. Branca Aldama, 37, Brazil. Unknown, 30, Mexico.
Giovanna Perez, Brazil. Gul Panra, Pakistan. B.E. Alvarez Hernandez, 25, Colombia. Melania, 32, Mexico. Unknown, 33, Brazil. Guadalupe Geraldine, 60, Mexico. Rocio Ellen Samaniego, 22, Argentina. Brittany Jacqueline, Mexico. Sibeli Rodriguez de Sousa, 33, Brazil. Susana Criado Aton, 60, Spain. Jardieli Santos, 24, Brazil. Maria Pioli Gaglione, 22, Italy. Unknown, Mexico. Erion Burnett, 37, Independence, Missouri. Gucci Ume, Turkey. Barbie Macone, 34, Brazil.
Armando Ventura, 24, Dominican Republic. Duna Jew, 19, France. Juliana Geraldo Diaz, 38, Colombia. Sandra Beatriz Rangel, 38, Brazil. Francesca Cornejo, 63, Argentina. Mia Green, 29, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Donna Niera, 23, Philippines. Susha Labasora Constantino Barbosa, 28, Brazil. Victoria Basakovskaya, 23, Russia. Sarah Hauser-Blackwood, 29, Indianapolis, Indiana. Gabriela Ramirez, 19, Bolivia. Sangeetha, 60, India. Hello, my name is Brandon Connolly. I'm a transgender activist, transgender rights advocate on the board of directors at Genderbands, and from HBO's Emmy-nominated TV series, We're Here. This year has arguably been one of the most impactful to affect at least 3 generations. Unique to our evolving world, we are equally affected in every country by a global pandemic. We are all seeing the nasty truths, the hate-filled acts, and protected wrongs that were waiting for us in plain sight. But the transgender community is no stranger to tragedy, to grief, and to mourning. This year, we have lost a record-breaking count of over 380 transgender lives around the world to violence. In the United States, at least 47. My heart is heavy as we come to the close of another counting cycle. Foremost, I would like to take a moment to say how important and loved each of these people were. At this time in our history, transgender people live extraordinary lives. We are one of humanity's greatest examples of self-love and timeless truth. This is a spirit that has been left behind by our transgender ancestors over the course of human history, not just the last 100 years. This is the influence that our new ancestors leave behind as well, with their families, blood or chosen, and their endless impressions on those around them. As we wearily move into a new counting cycle until next November, I would like to remind everyone to hold their head up high. Wherever you are, out, stealth, unannounced, or questioning, know that you are part of a community, and I mean that. Transgender people come in all different identities and backgrounds, and it is more important than ever to continue advocating for even the voiceless amongst us. If you live in queer-friendly spaces, reach out to your rural organizations as well. Ask how you can support them and their services. In the age of social media, continue spreading information on resources that could best help transgender people. Donate your time when you can. Show up to queer organized events. Volunteer at your local and rural LGBTQ organizations. And of course, as always, your monetary donations are welcome. Always stay safe. Surround yourself in love. Never give up on yourself. I'd like to leave you with a quote from William C. Hannon, which has comforted me in challenging times, especially through my transition. I know this transformation is painful, but you're not falling apart. You're falling into something different, with a new capacity to be beautiful. Thank you.
Transgender Day of Remembrance is a solemn day for us to reflect on who we have lost and to reimagine the world that we all want to create. Here at Equality Utah, we are a public policy organization, and we work to ensure that the laws in our state include and protect all LGBTQ Utahns. And we made a vow at the very beginning of our organization that we would never advance legal protections for sexual orientation without gender identity. We are all tethered together. We all cross the finish line together. And when I reimagine how I want to see the world, it's one where we all feel a deep sense of belonging. So in South Africa, there is this beautiful phrase called Ubuntu, which roughly translated means I am because of you. I exist because you exist. We all need each other. So we can't harm one group of people without really harming ourselves. We're not separate. We are all connected to each other. I've been reading this really awesome book by a woman named Sabine Selassie, who is a self-described nerdy black immigrant tomboy Buddhist. And she writes, quote, "Our desire to belong is what makes us human. All of us are taught not to belong. We feel that we don't belong, and presto, our survival instinct triggers our longing to belong." Close quote. She goes on to argue that this profound longing may be the only thing that can save us from extinction. And I so agree with her. And I know right now, with a pandemic and with so much political unrest, many of us do feel alone. We feel isolated. But in truth, we're all going through this turmoil together. And we have a responsibility to lift each other up, to care for those most vulnerable. Not to be a savior rushing to the rescue, but rather to help people recognize the strength and the power that they already have. On Transgender Day of Remembrance, I feel a greater resolve to return to Capitol Hill in January and to advocate on behalf of the transgender community, to help lawmakers understand and have empathy and compassion for our community. That's the key to peace, that we can look into the eyes of a stranger and see ourselves reflected back. To the transgender community, you belong. You belong in your body. You belong in our community. You belong in our laws. You belong in our cities, our state, our country, and our planet. We exist because you exist. So thank you all for sharing your courage, for living your life boldly, authentically, unapologetically. Let's create the world that we want to live in together.
On behalf of the Utah Pride Center, I'm here to honor and remember the lives, spirits, and souls of the trans and non-binary people who are no longer with us or in our communities, particularly the disproportionate number of Black and brown, queer, trans, and non-binary folk who are no longer in our community. Those of us living and working in this community, and most of our LGBTQ communities at large, know and recognize that our lives are richer and more vibrant with our trans and non-binary folks, friends, family, and colleagues, and neighbors in it. Sadly, there are far too many who do not know that or don't want to recognize that. On this day of remembrance, let us honor those we mourn by committing to be the drivers of change that our community needs. Transgender Day of Remembrance is one of the days of the year that I most vividly feel and connect with the South African concept of Ubuntu. I am because we are. And there's a sign in my office reminding me of this every day. A different way to look at that is that a person is a person through other people. It is an affirmation of our humanity through the recognition of an other in his, her, their uniqueness and difference. Transgender Day of Remembrance is that call to action for us to remember that common and shared humanity and Ubuntu. It is also that wake-up call to our communities and to our allies that we must do more, we must work harder, and we must not give up. We must educate ourselves, our friends, and our neighbors. Our education is up to us and nobody else. We must make space to amplify the voices of those who need to be heard. We must stand up, even when it's scary. We must find our friends, our allies, and our community groups and our organizations, and we must get to work. I am so proud to be working at the Utah Pride Center. We provide a space for connecting with the trans and non-binary communities through our programs and resources. We work alongside amazing trans and non-binary leaders, both in the Pride Center and outside. We collaborate with incredible organizations like T of Utah, and we contribute to the education of Utah about our communities. I call you all into our center and to any of the organizations in Utah to be part of making our state a safer and more inclusive space for all, particularly for the most marginalized members of our community. Our work is not done, but our goals are clear. On this day of remembrance, let us mourn, let us celebrate the lives that were, and then let us fight for a better future. Thank you.
Today, as I stand here as a proud, unapologetic trans woman who is a refugee from an anti-trans state, I think about my trans siblings who were not able to survive, but whose spirit and fight lives on. From the life and death of our foremother, Marsha P. Johnson, to the life and death of Tony McCade, whose murder was met with such little outrage and no justice. Today, we recognize the continuous fight forward for a society where trans and gender nonconforming people can truly be liberated. Today, I ask all of us to begin building a truly strong and resilient solidarity for those at the very bottom. Once working class, poor, trans women of color can be free, then all of us can be free. The fight for our freedom as trans people today is much more radical and abolitionist than we have seen it before. In order to truly support our fight for a free and just society, we cannot support the oppressive police state. The oppressive police state that was the cause of the Stonewall riots and the reason behind any justice not being served to our murdered siblings. We must decriminalize sex work and allow for a society that uplifts and helps homeless trans people, not one that allows them to sleep on the streets and criminalizes them and sends them to prison for simply being poor. We must put a stop to the prison industrial complex that has punished us with beyond human methods for simply existing in our trans bodies. And of course, the fight for our trans youth must be more militant and unapologetic than ever before. We cannot allow for a state mandate that would strip our young trans youth of access to school facilities. We cannot allow for the right-wing agenda to continue creating the transition journeys of young people into a political circus. Today, we celebrate the release of our sister, Chelsea Manning, who has been subject to state-sanctioned persecution for exposing United States war crimes. She is a national hero, and we celebrate her freedom and fight for her freedom every day. Our fight has been able to accomplish some incredible achievements, which indicates to us that progress is being made, and all of this is not for nothing. At this very moment, we are finally being able to see trans people telling our own stories and the journey of the trans experience on screen for the very first time with shows like Pose and Euphoria. We were able to witness the Supreme Court's ruling in favor of trans and queer workers. The highest court in the land listened to our fellow community members' stories for the very first time and did not disappoint. We witnessed trans candidates being elected into all different levels of government with overwhelming majority votes from their constituencies. For the first time in United States history, every single presidential candidate took on trans rights as a serious aspect of their platform. And most importantly, we have created a mass movement with supporters all over the nation and world that are more vocal about their support for our fight than ever before. Congratulations to the Black Trans Lives Matter March for marching with over 15,000 attendees this past summer in New York City. Though it may seem as if we are alone at times, with not a single person in the world who understands, we are far from it. Every day we are here protecting our loud and vibrant community. Every day I am on call ready to kick ass for trans youth who are experiencing transphobia. We are here to show up for each other and finally witness a type of solidarity that is unbreakable, a type of communal effort that cannot be destroyed no matter what they throw at us. You can introduce bills against us, you can deny our humanity all you want. You can come for one of us on the streets, but just know that there will always be a million of us ready to fight back. Power to the people, and thank you.
Malolele, my name is Reina Kapilani Pahulu, and I'm a Tongan American lady, or in English, a transgender woman. I've been asked to share a few words for the Transgender Day of Remembrance. For me, this day just means honoring those who have come before us and holding space for each other and the generations to come, forever progressing so that one day, or in some days soon, that it won't be so hard for, again, each upcoming generation. I think the average person outside of what it means to be trans, and to, celebrate and affirm us, is to simply believe us, make sure you're not dead naming us, and you're respecting pronouns as much as possible, should people care about, specific pronouns. Yeah, just very simple things. Being kind, even if you don't fully understand all that that pertains to the experience, goes a long way. And then to other trans and gender nonconforming people, I would just say keep keeping on. This life is fucking hard, but it's so worth it. And I hope that we all get to be here longer, and live our lives more fully, and that we build a world in which we get to exist beautifully without apologizing for it. And yeah, that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Hello again. I want to take a moment to recognize the many organizations and people who made this event possible. We're grateful for all our community partners and the many nameless people who show up every day to make a difference for our community. I want to recognize Project Rainbow, Equality Utah, the Utah Pride Center, the Human Rights Campaign, and many other people and organizations who worked so hard to make an in-person event possible this year. It has been a difficult year, and we really wanted to bring the community together for an event, but the safety and well-being of our community had to come first. I want to recognize all the people who showed up last weekend to plant flags, to memorialize the people in this year's Transgender Day of Remembrance at the Salt Lake City and County building. Some people spent 6 hours putting flags in the ground to make that possible. Finally, I would also like to recognize the Salt Lake City Council and Mayor Mendenhall for passing a resolution to recognize November 20th as the Transgender Day of Remembrance. Thank you for standing with us and helping raise awareness to the issue of violence that takes so many innocent lives each year. We are honored to have you as allies. We need more leaders to stand with us to denounce this violence and make clear that people who perpetrate such violence will be held accountable for their actions. It's hard to imagine why people would not want to stand on the right side of this issue. But we call on the leaders of the United States and from leaders around the world to hold countries like Brazil accountable for the unacceptable levels of violence and death that continue to take the lives of transgender and gender diverse people in that country. It seemingly goes unchecked year after year. We call on the leaders of the US to do more to stop the increasing violence in our own country. Violence comes in many forms in addition to physical violence, medical neglect, forced medical treatment, and refusing people basic life-sustaining support, and forced poverty through a lack of access to meaningful employment are all acts of violence. The systemic racism and violence that disproportionately impacts Black and Brown, transgender, queer, and gender diverse people is unacceptable. We must work together and focus on the people at the furthest most fringes of our society because that is where the attention and effort is needed most. Rita Hester was murdered on November 28, 1998. Her death sparked the movement that has become the International Transgender Day of Remembrance, a day now recognized on the 20th of November each year. Her surviving family lost a loved one, and like similar families, had to come to grips with the violence that takes too many innocent lives each year due to hate towards transgender and gender nonconforming people. This form of hate is generally entangled with intersecting factors like race, gender expression, and socioeconomic status. But it always has the marker of extreme violence and a blatant disregard for the sanctity of life. Rita's surviving family is reminded of this tragedy every year now, but they understand something that most of us do not: who Rita was as a living person, the connections and passions Rita had in life, the struggles and triumphs that we all experience, share, celebrate, and overcome with family and friends. Rita is not just a face or a name on a website for them, and her memory is more than a story of a tragic death. According to the Remembering Our Dead website, for more than a decade, at least one person is killed every month due to transgender-based hate or prejudice, regardless of any other factors in their lives. Since November of last year, at least 38 people have been killed in the United States and more than 300 globally from this violence. Today, as is the case in many of these situations, Rita's murder is yet to be solved. The perpetrators of her murder never facing consequences for their hateful actions. While gathering to memorialize these lives is a way of bringing love and respect to the people killed each year, it is also critical that we seek to understand the seeds of this violence so we can end the cycle of violence. If nothing else, 2020 has taught us that life is fragile and our ability to live and thrive is tethered to our social conditions. We have seen the best of humanity in the doctors, nurses, frontline workers who endure great risks to their own personal health and well-being to keep people alive and our society functioning. We have also seen the worst of humanity in the disregard for personal responsibility and accountability for the health and well-being of others, and a seemingly growing tolerance for unnecessary death and misery. If we teach our children intolerance towards some people, does intolerance then become a tool that can be used against any person for any reason? Once dignity and respect is removed from value for one life, is it not then easier to disregard such things from other lives? The fact that so many lives continue to be taken from this violence each year is a reflection of who we are as a society and what we really value and are willing to tolerate. In reality, what is happening to these lives and our response to the violence can in part help us understand how we are becoming a people who seemingly have a growing tolerance for unnecessary death and misery. When we teach love to the world, when we make love and respect part of who we are as individuals, families, communities, and society, it becomes part of our social DNA. These lives matter. We say their names because they still matter in death, and they deserve better in life. We gather to call on leaders in our communities and throughout the world to acknowledge this ongoing tragedy, and we want meaningful action to bring those who have perpetrated such hateful acts to justice. We want meaningful change in policies and laws to help convey a clear message that this behavior is unacceptable, and we want to see action that backs up those claims. We call on all people to be defenders of dignity, love, and respect for all life, and to teach such things through example, through actions. Perhaps through such efforts, this memorial service can one day come to represent more than an annual event that denotes an ongoing tragedy and injustice. Perhaps one day, Rita Hester will come to represent a struggle that we overcame together and a triumph that we share as a human family. Each of us has a role to play in getting to that vision. We are on that road, and we will get there. Finally, this is a difficult event and can take a tremendous toll on those who are already struggling emotionally. This is especially true this year with so much going on between the pandemic, the economic fallout, and the political environment. I want you to know there are people and organizations who are here to help you if you are struggling. It might feel like you are alone, but there are many of us who do care about you and want you to reach out if you need help. One of the most profound things you can do to create change in this world is being authentic to yourself and stepping out your door each day to live your life. Let me say that again. One of the most profound things you can do to create change in this world is being authentic to yourself and stepping out your door each day to live your life, to letting others see who you are and come to understand that they know someone who has walked your path. But sometimes we need help in doing that, and it does not make you weak for asking for help. It opens up the door of possibility, one that could lead to positive change and a healthier life. The first step is acknowledging your needs. The second step is making an effort, taking action to reach out for help when you need help. Here are a few resources that might be helpful. There's the Trans Lifeline that can be reached at www.translifeline.org, or you can call 877-565-8860. The Trevor Project can be reached at www.thetrevorproject.org, or you can call 1-866-488-7386. Closer to home, we have the Safe UT crisis line that you can reach at 833-372-3388, or you can download the app to get more information. Another incredible resource is the Utah Pride Center, and you can go to the utahpridecenter.org for more information. Also, the LGBTQ Affirmative Therapist Guild. You can find them at lgbtqtherapists.com for more information. Finally, I want to thank you for being part of this event, and I would ask you to take care of yourself and each other, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you.